Hello, everyone, and welcome to MeowMix, the Carolina Panthers podcast. My name is Steven,
My name is Jerry.
and we are here to talk about the latest Carolina Panthers disappointment as they fall to the Buffalo Bills 31-14. Jerry, you were pretty close on your score prediction,
Yeah,
honestly.
I had 29-6. I mean,
Yeah.
I will say the Panthers gave up better of a fight than I expected. The defense played really well in the first quarter. And then,
As they always do.
then the two drives, gave up, two touchdowns back to back, and it kind of just put us behind the eight ball, and then
Yeah.
that was
We
it.
made some history today. It was the first game to ever be 17-8 at halftime, which is
Woo.
it seems pretty. I mean, that seems like a pretty. I didn't look at that score and I was like, "Whoa, what a weird score!" I
No,
can't believe there's never been 17-8 at halftime. It's very strange, but
I mean, you could get a safety and two field goals, which,
well, you just
obviously
do
we couldn't
exactly
get a
what.
field goal.
Yeah, I mean, all those years that the Pittsburgh was going for it all the time, on 2-point conversions, they never had 8 points at halftime, and the other team 17. I mean, I don't know. Seems odd, but that's about the best thing the Panthers had going for them today.
hmm
Cam Newton sucked. The
Cam Newton
defense
sucked.
was good in the first quarter, as usual, gave up 17 points in the second quarter, 31 altogether. And I don't know, receivers were nowhere to be found half the game. Chuba Hubbard completely disappeared. He ran well when they let him. They didn't let him run a lot.
No,
Uh, the Panthers were running the ball really well. It ran for 5.2 yards a carry, over 150 yards. I mean, a lot of that was Cam, but the
but
running
that's
backs also did pretty well, and they just didn't get an opportunity.
mm-mm. I just
And
don't
by running
understand.
backs, I mean Chuba. I mean, Amir Abdullah sucked running the ball. He was 4 for 7 yards, but
Yeah,
Chuba 8 for 40 and had a
it
nice big play early. Sorry, go
it
ahead.
it's just this coaching staff just never seems to do it. And again, the first quarter, the team looked pretty good. The offense drove down to the 20-yard line, 25-yard line. Obviously, Zane Gonzalez, out for the game due to a injury in pregame warmups, which
Yeah,
would be my play. If we did plays of the game, would be probably my number one because it really changed the
yeah,
offense.
yeah.
But I mean, they played well, and then again, this coaching staff can't adjust at all and gets cremated after not being able to adjust.
Well, that what really struck me is early in the game when they talked about the Panthers are they're the number one team in the league in terms of scoring differential in the first quarter.
hmm and defense.
How does a team how is a team that good in the first quarter ends up being 5-9, ends up losing what 9 out of 11 now?
Yeah,
It's
they're
because
two
the
and
the
nine.
coaching staff doesn't know how to adjust.
Yeah,
They
if
have a great they apparently have very good preparation. They apparently script out those first 15 plays pretty well. Um, but after that, nothing. They don't seem to know how to work within the game,
no, not at
and
all.
that's a major problem.
And that's what I've been screaming most this
Yeah,
season is that Matt Rule, Phil Snow, they just don't understand him. Joe Brady don't understand how to work during the game. It's
yeah.
it's so frustrating when you see Atlanta running to the left 50 times, it
Hmm.
feels like, and they're like, hey, yeah, whatever. And they
Yeah.
continue to run it. I don't understand this scheme or this coaching staff and their thought process. And these are pros. They're not me, sitting on the sideline. So they should be able to do it.
Yeah. I don't ever think there's something that you and I, and other fans should be so obviously pointing out that the coaching staff doesn't seem to get. Like it seems pretty obvious what the issues are here, and they
Yeah.
just don't seem to want to address them or know how maybe to address them. I think is
Every,
probably the main point.
another one, a critical fourth down. Guess what? Cam Irving gave up a sack. Didn't that happen
Mhm.
last week too? Or in the week before? It feels like he does that every critical down. He gives up a sack.
Yeah,
Like
Cam Irving got eaten up this game. He was awful this game.
I just don't get it. Like, why is this guy still out there? Why is he still out there on critical downs when he gets blows
probably
up?
His arms are probably long enough,
Yeah, that's it.
He's got those arms,
Because, Rashawn Slater, Brady Christensen, they have short arms. They can't play tackle. They can't play tackle.
No, can't play tackle. Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, this was just if you've seen this game, you've seen every Panthers game this season.
Yeah.
Outside of those first 3 games. I mean, and even those first 3 games were, had some very similarities to these. They're just the Panthers, in this game, the Panthers actually won the time of possession.
Mm-hmm.
They were able to move up and down the field. Missing Gonzalez was big. I mean, that I think directly took at least 6 points off the scoreboard, if not 9. Not that changes the outcome of the game score-wise, but, momentum, all that stuff, who knows? Who knows?
I mean, there's a critical 4th down where the play call was atrocious to Robbie Anderson.
No, you're going to have to be more oh, yeah.
4th down and 1 in the second quarter, I believe it was, and they tried to throw a screen pass to Robbie Anderson. First of all, it was 0-0 at the time. If you're not going to run Cam Newton up the middle for that 1 yard, which I could see just punting the ball away. You don't have a kicker. You're already struggling, but your defense was playing lights out at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So that pass was horrible. The play call was horrible. Even if he completed it, it would have been a loss on downs. It was just
he was hit immediately. Yeah.
It was so moronic. Yeah. It's just
it was a bad play call combined with a bad execution. And that wasn't the first one. There was that series before, there was a third, it's like 3rd and 9 or something. And they call a screen pass to a running back.
Yeah.
That goes absolutely nowhere. Does nothing. Every 3rd or 4th down, it seems like they're throwing behind the sticks.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's 4th and 1 or 3rd and 9, it doesn't matter. They're throwing behind the sticks.
And I understand Cam Newton doesn't have the arm he used to. I mean, that was obvious on display when he underthrew a wide open DJ Moore for a touchdown.
Yeah.
But that being said, you gotta at least give him chances. And that being, Cam Newton sucked today. He missed throws left and right. But it's just
his arm. I mean, he can't throw far. I think we saw the reason why they don't go deep. DJ Moore could not have been more wide open. All Cam had to do was throw that ball 10 more yards in the air, and that's a touchdown. And it was, I mean, maybe even 20 more yards. I mean, it was way underthrown.
He had like 5-10 yards separation. He had that guy beat dead to rights.
It was just a really, really poor throw. And honestly, it's what we've seen from Cam since that shoulder injury, since that initial shoulder injury.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's had surgery on it twice. It is stupid to think that he can be the same guy. And I see so many Panthers fans. Did you see that pass? Well, look what he can do when he had time to throw. Well, no shit. Like, honestly, any quarterback in the league, if they have time to throw, can make good passes. Every quarterback in the league can. And by the way, that pass that those people are talking about, even though it was like a 23-yard touchdown pass, he only threw it 10 yards in the air. Like, let's, Cam is washed. Unfortunately, I hate it. He still has the running game. He would be really good as a situational type quarterback like he was against Arizona. But in terms of leading the team for 16, 17 games, it's not happening anymore.
This team's just floating in the water right now. It's just done. I mean, we're 5-9, lost, 9 out of 11 games. So we're 2-9.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we have no quarterback of the future, no offensive line. The saving grace is our defense that can play decent, but it can get ran on up the middle. I mean, Devin Singletary has sucked all season, and what did he run for this week? 86 yards.
86 yards. Only 3.9 per carry, but they ran him 22 times, and he was getting positive yardage every time, and he had a nice touchdown run. He just, they did what they needed to do.
And the Bills, I personally, even though they're struggling at the time, 8-6, shockingly, I mean, I still view them as a Super Bowl contender. I think the defense is good.
Very good team.
Yeah. It's just frustrating to watch our team and no, we just don't have the firepower. We don't have the coaching staff. We don't have the offensive line. We don't have the quarterback to contend with them.
Yeah. I feel like we're wasting a lot of our offensive talent here this season. Who knows what happens next season with DJ Moore? I mean, I know they can keep him around another season, but do they? Number one.
Yeah.
Are they able,
we're going to be paying like $20-30 million to quarterbacks that either aren't here or not playing.
Right.
I mean,
thank goodness they didn't sign Cam to that long-term deal that he wanted. I mean, at least they did that smart, but
that's the only smart thing this offseason they did. We were just talking before this. I was like, F.A. Obata ended this game for them.
Oh, F.A. Obata was so. I'm so happy that he played well today, and that I love F.A. Obata as a person. We really liked him as a player. You and I were really, really strong on him sticking around.
I think he was our number 3 player that we wanted to keep because behind Curtis Samuel and Taylor Moton. He had 2 sacks and 2 tackles for losses, 3 tackles. He ended our series here. We found out, signed for 1 year, $1.5 million. Morgan Fox, who they were all about, signed a 2-year, $8.1 million contract. Scott Fitterer and Matt Rhule, because I still really don't know who's pulling the strings for personnel. They screwed up. They screwed up on that one. They screwed up on the quarterback situation. They screwed up over and over and over again, and that's what gets you to 5-9. Offensive linemen, Cam Irving and Pat Elflein, first day of free agency signings. Woo! Yeah, they both suck. Both bottom on the line pass protection. No wonder why no quarterback that has been in a Carolina uniform has had any time. This game included. Cam was under duress as soon as he got the ball. Cam Irving gives up a huge sack on 4th down. I'm frustrated with this team.
Oh, you have been on the Cam Irving, Pat Elflein bandwagon since the minute they were signed. You were like, what is this? Why this is what we do the first minute of free agency? We sign these guys?
I am not an NFL insider, but I could see that was a bad move. Yeah. Every NFL insider said, God, what the hell were they doing? Guess what?
The NFL is these guys.
These guys. Yeah. Oh, man. Look at it. It's awful. Yeah. This offseason, Hassan Reddick was the only winning hit we really had. Morgan Fox has played well, but not $4 million a year season.
He's not 3 times as good as F.A. Obata.
No.
That's what he's making.
I think F.A. Obata is, if not better, at least comparable.
Yeah, F.A. Obata made some great plays. Now, we had some good plays on our side as well. Yetur Gross-Matos made some really nice plays today. Had a dumb penalty that kind of negated a big 3rd down.
No, that wasn't F.A. Obata. That was Roy.
No, I said
93.
He had one too, but Yetur had one.
Oh, the one
at a different time.
Right.
It was offset of penalties, but I think the Panthers still were able to get a stop. But yeah, that one on the sideline, that was just a terrible call from the refs. Again, the refs were bad today. This is a theme with Panthers games.
It's a theme all around the NFL. They are awful.
That unsportsmanlike conduct on the sideline against 93, that was that was terrible. That was a terrible call.
And that gave them a touchdown too, by the way.
Yeah.
It moved, this game would have still been in hand.
Because their series was over at that point.
Dear NFL, get refs that know what they're doing, pay them full-time money, get them throughout off-season and everything else to learn how to do better. Because honestly, and this is not just Panther games. And again, I'm not blaming refs for the loss. The Panthers sucked. They lost. The NFL, though, needs to really do something. This is the worst since I've seen the scab refs from 5-6 years ago.
Some of those were better.
Honestly. It has been awful.
Know. Are they still part-time employees?
Yes, they are.
So you've got a
billion-dollar company,
a league here. Billions, $10 billion, I think last year, something like that. you can't pay these 40, 50 guys, however many there are. You can't pay them full time, year round. In the off season, they, go to classes. They, ref high school games or college games or
preseason game. Maybe just have them rotate through them.
Whatever. Yeah, like they need to be doing this year round and be actually good at it. They don't need to. As soon as the season is over, half of them are going and selling cars, half of them are lawyers, half of them are, they're doing all kinds of different stuff, but they're not focusing on NFL referees. This is a multi-billion-dollar organization. And now you've got gambling coming in, which is going to turn the whole thing on its head. I mean, this is really a problem that needs to be solved. But getting back to the Panthers, we got our own problems. CJ Henderson is not good.
No.
He proved it again today.
The first quarter, every first quarter pass, I felt like Josh Allen was targeting CJ Henderson, and a lot of them were just drops. They weren't CJ Henderson good plays.
At some point, I tweeted out that CJ Henderson is in on every single play. Typically, he's watching his receiver catch the ball, but he's there. He's in there. He's in there on every play. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to seeing his PFF score this week. But I thought Gilmore did a really good job on Diggs. He wasn't on him the whole game, but
which was a negative.
Yeah, he did give up the touchdown, which was just a great throw and a great catch.
I thought Gilmore had good coverage.
Offense. Yeah, I think a great offense, if it's executed perfectly, is gonna beat great defense. That was just really good on both sides, and Diggs got it. But I thought Gilmore overall played really well. Held Diggs to 4 catches for 35 yards. You can't ask for much more than that, honestly.
No, and a lot of those catches, he wasn't on them. So
yeah, right. That's true. Yeah, I think I only saw maybe 2 catches where Gilmore was actually on him. But they just didn't have to. I don't know. They offensively, they didn't look. The Bills didn't look unbeatable or anything, but they still scored 31 points, and they were able to handle the game just fine.
It was short field position, and a tired out defense again. I mean, typical Panthers game.
Yeah, and let's not underscore what losing your only kicker minutes before the game starts does. I mean, that really it changed. It had to change the game plan for the Panthers, especially getting in that red zone area. And the Panthers, as we know, have not been a good red zone team under the Matt Rule regime. Really have been relying on Zane to kick some field goals to keep them in games, and that wasn't available today. So
I want to question the coaching staff though.
Mm-hmm.
Why is Lachlan Edwards not capable of kicking an extra point, or at least a decently short? I mean, this is his job, is to punt.
Mm-hmm.
All he does is to practice punts. But at the same time, every other team, the punter practices field goals. Pat McAfee talks about how he used to do it all the time. It just happens where the punter, just in case an injury happens during the game, they have a backup type of situation where a guy can kick a 30-yard field goal. I mean, I've kicked a 30-yard field goal before. Mm-hmm. Now, that being said, they started trotting Reggie Bonavin, Brandon Zylstra, and Frankie Louvu out there to kick kickoffs and stuff like that.
And if you saw any of those practice kicks, then you understand why they did not kick the ball once today.
No, I understand that. But why was the Edwards not at least somewhat prepped to do a field goal, to do a kickoff?
He may not be a kicker.
It seems so boneheaded not to have an emergency backup plan. And like I said, every other team I've ever seen this type of situation happen, the punter goes out there and kicks extra points or kicks short field goals. Again, I understand.
No, I've seen other teams where you've had to have position players come out there. I mean, Ocho Cinco kicked a kick once. Like you have other teams that have been in this situation before. I'm not going to blame Lachlan Edwards or the coaching staff on this one. I don't think it's, not every punter knows how to kick.
Yeah.
Field goals. It's a different skill set. So I'm not going to kill him for that.
It sounds like Chase in the background is still upset
that was
about the
Logan.
pick. Logan
Yeah,
about
yeah.
sad about
I
the
think
game.
he was having a nightmare of Cam Newton dropping back. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Like you said, we're not really doing any key plays in this game. It seemed like the whole game was just kind
A
of
key.
F from the beginning when
Mm-hmm.
when Gonzalez went down, and then the Panthers just couldn't get in the end zone early. And I don't know, it just it was tough. But I don't know. You want to look at some stats here?
Sure, let's look at some stats.
All right. So Cam was 18 of 39, 156, a touchdown and an absolute terrible interception towards the end of the game. Not that it really affected the game at all, but he threw it right to AJ Klein, another former Panther, in a team full of former Panthers.
I was just like, I saw that play and I was like, did he not see him? Is he colorblind? Because he's wearing a bright red suit. I mean, he's like Santa Claus out there, and you threw it on the numbers to AJ Klein. It did the game, which again
couldn't have been an easier play for AJ Klein to make.
I mean, did Cam Newton just want to hop on the plane to get home?
I don't know if I would blame him. I mean, he got beat up all day long.
Mm-hmm.
He was bleeding out of several different places on his body. I'm sure he's fine, but he got hit a lot today. He was 15. He ran the ball 15 times, 15 for 71 and a touchdown. Cam looks fine running the ball. It's the throwing that's the problem.
Yeah.
Which for your quarterback is, that's an issue. Chuba, as we mentioned earlier, 8 rushes for 40 yards, 5 yards a clip, had a nice 21-yard run, but they didn't give him a lot of opportunities. Robbie Anderson made a couple of plays. Go ahead.
I just don't understand this. Why are we not trying to give Chuba a little bit more playing time in this? We're out of the playoff race. Why not see what we have in him instead of running a Cam Newton who's not probably going to be on this team next year? Like, why are we forcing it down on Cam?
I don't get it. I mean, like you said, now, I don't know, man. I guess I can see it if they're trying to win games and Cam's your best option on the run game. At least that's what they think, maybe. Then sure. But at this point, now that we're 5-9, I don't even know if we went out that we would finish in 8th or 9th at this point. Certainly, we're not going to make the playoffs.
No.
At this point, you've got to run Chuba. You've got to give him 20 carries a game over these next 3 just to see what you've got. You've got to do that. It is important. They did have a little bit of trickeration with Robbie Anderson. He had 2 back-to-back runs. The first one was 30 yards, a very nice run with a couple of nice blocks downfield. And then they ran him again where he made some really nice moves to get 3 yards, but that play easily could have been blown up in the backfield for like -5 yards. So he did a really nice job there. Amir Abdullah, 4 rushes for 7 yards. He did nothing in the run game. But in the passing game, Amir Abdullah was more effective. 4 catches for 48 yards and a touchdown. He was the leading receiver. He and DJ Moore both with 48 yards receiving. Robbie Anderson, 3 for 29 on 8 targets. So back to his typical receiving game. And then you had Zylstra, 2 catches, 17, and then a few other catches spread out among the team. Jeremy Chin had a really nice game. 7 tackles led the team. Also had a pass deflection and an interception. A really nice interception.
Yeah, he leveled up and got up there and grabbed that. That was a beautiful interception.
Robbie Anderson could not have made that catch.
Really kind of gave this team somewhat of a chance to come back. They went and scored on that, and they kind of brought it close. But, I mean, unfortunately, the offense continued to suck, and the defense gave up some more points. So, yeah.
Yeah. Brian Burns had kind of a rough day today. He didn't end up with a sack, but he had I think he had a bad penalty. He had a couple of plays where he just got juked out of his shoes. He had Josh Allen wrapped up for a tackle, and Josh Allen just slipped right out of him.
That was brutal.
Yeah. I don't know if he was going for a strip. It almost looked like it, but he just slid right down him like a fire pole, and Josh Allen takes off for 20-something yards. and a first down. I think that was on a third down as well.
I don't remember the penalty. That's the only one I don't remember, but the rest
I thought he had
do.
a penalty. Maybe it wasn't him.
I was going to say, because I saw Burns in the backfield quite a bit, but that one missed tackle was brutal.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if it was a penalty or it was something else, but either way, I didn't think he had a great game. He did have a sack. Hassan Reddick had half a sack, and Yetur had 2.5 sacks. Yetur, nice game today for Yetur.
Probably one of his best games, honestly, minus the penalty. So, yeah. I mean, even that third down, he stopped them. It was unfortunate that they got called for a penalty. Yeah. But
yeah, good game for Yetur. So, I mean, that's, defensively, you're looking at a few guys that had pretty good games, but outside of that, just another bad game for the Panthers. Let's look defensively for Buffalo real quick since I've got it pulled up here. FA, 2 sacks. Taron Johnson, 1 sack. Star Latulele, 1 sack. So you had 3 sacks by former Panthers and an interception by a former Panther.
Mm-hmm. Well, the AJ Klein, he was gone for a while. I'm not going to knock them for that, but
I'm not saying that all 3 of these guys should be on the team, but you've got the head coach wins the game, and then you've got key plays being made by former Panthers. It's just just something to mention. But Josh Allen, not a former Panther, 19 of 34, 210, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Again, that really, really nice play by Jeremy Chin. And then he had 3 carries for 24 yards. Really, I think it was only really 1 rush for him. Those other carries are the kneel downs at the end of the game, but he only ran it 1 time. We talked in our preview about how dangerous he was as a runner, and they took that out of his game, really, except for the one where Burns missed the tackle.
I mean, it's another game where we gave up 31 points, but I feel like the defense played well enough for this team to win.
Yeah, they played okay. Like yeah, I don't know.
I mean, you could say, I hate saying that because it sounds 31-14, like, oh, you got blown out, but you punt on 4th and 1 at your 50 or at the 50 instead of, going for it. Mm-hmm. It's just, if the offense could sustain drives, keep the defense fresh, again, I think this game could have been the Panthers' way, but the offense can't. The offense is awful. The offensive line is awful.
Yeah, this one just, I don't know. This one never felt to me like the Panthers were in it. Even with as good as the defense played, I don't know. It just never felt.
I think it's 14. Because we both walked into this game expecting the Bills to walk over us.
Yeah, and honestly, 31-14. However they got there, that's a blowout. I mean, that's it's not a close game. Singletary, we mentioned earlier, 22 for 86 yards and 1 touchdown. Gabriel Davis led receivers, 5 for 85 and 2 touchdowns. Dawson Knox, their tight end, 4 for 38. Stephon Diggs, 4 for 35. Cole Beasley, 4 for 35. And a couple other guys made a couple catches. I mean, outside of that's pretty much it. If you look at the team stats, like I said earlier, the Panthers did have a lead in possession with 31 minutes to 28 minutes, so that's pretty good. Panthers 7 of 17 on 3rd downs. The Bills were 6 for 14, so not a ton of difference there. Now the 4th downs, the Panthers were 1 for 5, and we told you about some of those plays that were just terrible calls, but they had to go for a lot of them just because of the field goal situation. So again, kind of hard to be too down on them for some of those decisions, at least. Now the play calls themselves, we can be down on them for, but I mean, penalties 5 for 55 yards. Buffalo was 8 for 67, so you can't even blame penalties.
And I honestly think this is one of the better officiated games, as bad as it is.
Mm-hmm.
It was bad. I'm not saying that it was great, but I'm just saying I think it was a better officiated game than what we've seen.
Yeah.
But still not good. I mean, the Panthers still blown calls, but for the most part, every penalty I call besides that flagrant bad call by Bravion Roy, I saw. I mean, I saw holding calls against Bills. I saw, holding calls against us. I saw everything that type of way, offsides and stuff. I understood, but again, they still need to get NFL refs full time, knowing what they're doing.
Yeah. There was okay. So here's the 2nd and 15. Burns got called for roughing the passer. That was the one where he, it was pretty obvious, unfortunately. He was going for it, and Josh Allen got rid of the ball, and Burns still took like 2 or 3 more steps and just kind of knocked him flat on his ass. Sorry, I was just looking through the plays to find it because I knew he got a penalty, but anyway, yeah, I don't know, man. Where do we go from here? We probably go 0-3.
Yeah,
we end up 5-12.
I know everybody hates saying this. I think losing out's the best option for this team. I don't know whether we're going to get a new coaching staff or not, but I mean we have.
If you're not going to make the playoffs, then lose out.
We only have one pick in the top 100 right now because of C.J. Henderson and Sam Darnold. Both players look awful for this team and not in the future. I mean, maybe CJ can do something, but I don't see it, man. I don't see it, and I don't understand why we should try to cheer for them to win right now. Besides just normal, I wanted them to win during the game. I'm gonna say I was cheering for them.
Yeah.
I was thinking,
happy when they scored touchdowns.
We're 2 scores back. We could get this. A defense make a play. Jeremy Chinn's interception, great. Amir Abdullah's. We didn't really harp on this. It was a great play by him getting the ball into the end zone there. I was cheering, but it's so rough.
And one reason I guess that you shouldn't feel bad about cheering, and no one should feel bad about cheering for their own team. But if the Panthers win this game, the playoffs are still technically there. A couple of losses by some people ahead of us, and all of a sudden you're right back in it. But now we're 4 games under 500 with 3 games to go. It ain't happening now. So I agree. I think, at this point we're rooting for draft position. If the Panthers can lose out, I think they probably get to 5th, and then you can make some things happen in terms of trades.
As of right now, the Panthers are currently sitting at 7th, according to Tankathon.com. Fun website. Yeah. We are 7th at 5-9. Seattle is below us, but that goes to the Jets. Atlanta's at 6-7, and then that plethora of 6-7 teams. But the Giants lost today; they're 4-10, and Chicago is still above us at 4-9 as well. Goes to the Giants as well.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, the Jets and the Giants both have 2 top 10 picks right now.
Well, there you go.
So there'll be a lot of people from New York at Vegas for the draft.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, I don't know. I don't know what else to say, really. I think Matt Rhules should be fired.
Yeah, I think we're going to have a segment on that and try to get it out on Tuesday or Wednesday because I have mixed feelings about getting rid of him. I don't typically believe in getting rid of a coach after 1 or 2 years. I think they need time. But I also think Matt Rhules making these personnel decisions that are just honestly bad. They have not panned out at the least.
I mean, that's not even what I'm upset about because I think, I don't blame them for some of the moves that they made. I really don't. Sam Darnold could have been good. If they saw
if you
things,
watched him at USC.
I know, but I'm not a professional. If these guys who are professionals, especially Matt Rhule, who, he's scouted college kids his whole life, essentially. If he thought that there was something there that was worth taking a chance on, I'm perfectly fine with that. CJ Henderson, top 10 pick a year ago. I'm perfectly fine with that, with what they gave up to make that trade. Sometimes things don't work out, and that's fine. I'm not even upset with Matt Rhule about his personnel decisions, honestly. Now, there are some that some cuts he made and some free agent signings he made where we can certainly nitpick, and we have. But my issue with Matt Rhule is his in-game play calling, his in-game adjustments or lack thereof, and just the fact that I'm not seeing any improvement from where we were last year. In fact, I've seen regression. And someone asked him about that in one of his recent press conferences, and he basically made excuses about how the offensive line isn't any good, and injuries, stuff that I always respected Ron Rivera for not blaming his team's deficiencies on injuries, not blaming things on other people, and taking that full responsibility for him, to himself. As a coaching staff, we have to get better at these things. We have to prepare these guys better. Matt Rhule throws his players under the bus a lot.
Yes, he does.
I don't like that. I don't think that is respected in the locker room. I said last week that I thought guys were still playing for him, playing hard for him, that obviously he was well respected in college by the players. This is different. Like this, to me, that's not how you get through to NFL players. These guys are pros. They're getting paid. They're not trying to make it to the NFL. They're in the NFL. They've done what it takes. You got to treat them differently. And I don't like the way Matt Rhule handles himself in that way. And it's just become more obvious. If you're winning as a head coach and doing stuff like that, like Bill Belichick occasionally does, that's one thing. But Matt Rhule hasn't earned it.
No.
He hasn't earned the genius
with
moniker that he got as with Joe Brady, and we saw that worked out. So, I'm fully on board now.
All right,
with getting rid of Matt Rhule.
Well, you're kind of ruining the segment for later this week.
No, it's not. Sorry. People aren't. We're 37 minutes into this. Only the diehards are still listening.
On another Panther loss. So yeah, you're right.
Right. Hey, hello to the 7 of you that are still listening, by the way.
And if you want a sticker or something, go ahead and just email us with 37 minutes on Buffalo Bills recap. We'll send you a package of stickers.
There you go. MeowMix, what is it? Inbox at MeowMixPodcast.com?
No. Mailbag.
Podcast. Yeah. Go ahead and hit us up. We will definitely send you something. I think that's going to do it, Jerry.
I do too. Do we have any heroes or zeros this week?
Yeah, we probably have zeros. Let's,
I'll give it to my hero to Etor, even though he had that bad penalty. I've been waiting for this. I feel like I've been waiting for him to kind of blossom since his rookie season. This was a really good game for him, and I want to give credit to him for that.
Agreed. And I'm going to give mine to Chin. Unfortunately, he hasn't had an opportunity to make big game-changing plays this season. Or when he hasn't made those opportunities. But this was a really nice game for him, and he had a couple nice tackles as well. So I'm going to give it to him. Yeah,
I still want to see him down in the box. I think that's where he makes bread and butter. He is lightning in a bottle down there.
Zeros, I'm going to give it to Zane Gonzalez. Did absolutely nothing for us in this game.
I'm not going to give it to an injured player who got hurt his quad.
I don't know how you get hurt, before the game.
Did you not watch it? He was just kicking it, and it's a kick your injury, man. It just sucks.
I don't know.
I'm going to give it to Cam Irving because, again, a second game where you give up a sack on a critical down. And it's not the first time. It's not the second time. It's constant. You are just not a left tackle in this league.
Was Brady Christensen out there at all?
I don't know. He may have played a couple snaps at guard or something.
He played 100% of the snaps last week. And he's playing I gotta see the snap count. Whenever they release it.
This is my problem with Matt Rhule and his coaching staff. Is there?
Don't step on it, Jerry.
I know.
The segment.
But,
We're 39 minutes in now.
Catching us.
No, but I agree with you. I mean, it's something we've been talking about all season long. Like, none of what we're going to say when we talk about Matt Rhule is going to be new information, really. It's what we've been talking about. It's what Panthers fans have been talking about all season long.
Mm-hmm.
He just doesn't seem to get it.
Nope.
I don't know. All right. I don't think there were any other NFC South games that have been completed.
No.
To go over. Atlanta is playing San Francisco right now, and then tonight, New Orleans and Tampa Bay play each other. So we'll recap those, I guess, maybe sometime this week.
Yep. We want to thank everyone for listening. If you like the show, please let your friends know. Please follow us on Twitter at MeowMix Podcast. If you have any questions or comments, you can email us at mailbag@meowmixpodcast.com. And if you leave us a 5-star review with a comment on Apple Podcasts, we'll read it on our show. Please like and subscribe on YouTube.
Yeah, we'll be back in a couple of days to talk about Matt Rhule and whether or not he should be fired. And then we'll have to figure out, I guess we'll be back on Friday morning. We'll be back on Christmas Eve to talk about the Panthers. Bucks, right?
Yeah.
Panthers Bucks coming up.
Or maybe even the day before Christmas Eve.
Maybe even the day before. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it works out. But we will definitely have 2 more podcasts this week. So be on the lookout there. And until then, everyone stay safe out there and keep pounding.